Hi guys, I just wanted to make a short video about the GMA brake caliper that I installed on my 1977 Harley Davidson Sportster XLCH. This is the same bike that I bought a couple years ago from a friend out of storage, had them running 13 years, etc. And I've put a couple thousand miles on it now. And I was riding it with just the back brake, the drum brake, and for anyone that's ever done that before, you know how well that works. Engine braking is as effective as that. So in any case, at the prodding of one of my good friends, I finally did finish my project to get a front brake on the bike. So here's a rundown of the parts list. This is the Drag Specialties, whatever you call that, housing, lever, reservoir. This is a Drag Specialties 3/4 inch banjo bolt, and if you're paying attention you'll notice that there's two crush washers between the fitting and between the end of the bolt and the banjo bolt. And I'll discuss why later. I decided to route it through the forks here like that, and then down here with a 35-degree fitting as well. Now the GMA brake caliper went on okay. It did require a trip to the hardware store. I'm not sure. I mean, they say that they manufacture these for all stock bikes. Of course, on 1977, I don't think there's anything left on it that's stock. And certainly I don't know that the front end is any different. So this bolt here, I needed the spacer work, the bolt did not, so I had a special bolt for that. You can see I've got a couple of spacers here on this bolt as well to make that work. I went ahead and did the oh yeah, can't really see them that well, but there are spacers in between the rotor and the hub. There, it's not a terrible shot. Well, you'll have to take my word for it. So I had to take the front wheel off, remove the rotor, and then put the spacers provided in the GMA kit between the rotor and the hub. And that provides adequate spoke clearance here from the caliper. So assembly-wise, it happened on this end with this banjo fitting and also on the other end. The shortest banjo bolts I could find that would work were the Drag Specialties 3/4 variant, and even they were a little bit too long. So there's two here and one here of the crush washers, and that's just what it required in order for the banjo bolt not to bottom out on the inside of the fitting. So here's a rundown of the parts that I used. The aluminum crush washers, the 3/4 inch Drag Specialties banjo bolts. I used one Russell fitting that was straight, and then I used one Drag Specialties that was a 35-degree, and then I used this Drag Specialties 42-inch brake line. I think these are 10-inch mini apes on here, and it seems to have enough slack without being obnoxious. Bleeding wise, it holds some brake fluid well. Bleeding was made easier by this Motion Pros device, this really cool little kit. It's like a one-way check valve. And so you just put this on the bleeder nipple and then orient the arrow in the right direction and then into the receptacle that you're going to bleed into. And that made it so I could bleed the brake myself. It did take a fair amount of time to get that all bled out, and even overnight. One of the tips I heard was to zip tie the handle depressed into the grip overnight, and when you come out, it's hard as a rock, and that was true. The brake worked right out of the gate, which is great, but I can tell that as the brake pads wear in, it's working better. So I would say stopping power, on a scale of 1 to 10, the drum brake is about a 2. I've literally rolled through intersections. In any case, the front brake, I'd say, it's only 2 pistons, so it's certainly not up to par with your modern motorcycles, like Kawasaki Ninja or even a Harley bagger. But it is a hell of a lot better than only having a rear brake. So, anywho, I struggled with this for a good long time. I think I started researching this, and I looked at some forums, even posted on XL forums. There's a great forum there with guys that know a lot about iron heads. And so that's where I got my start on this information. And then, I kind of struggled with it last fall. And then finally it sort of all came together this spring. And at first I didn't think I could do it. And, all the rest of that, because I've never plumbed a brake line before. I've never installed a brake. I'd never put a bike back from, in boxes to where you can ride it before. But, with the help of the guys on the forums and reaching out to friends and just asking questions, reading manuals like the original Harley Davidson shop manual, etc., really helps. So it's been a really great time. I love this bike. It's probably the coolest bike I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot. So yeah. Anyways, I hope it helps anyone who's thinking about a front brake. I did have the original Harley, or half of the original Harley caliper, and I was considering using it and finding the other half on eBay and all that. And people just told me, just go ahead and get the damn GMA caliper and plumb it up. It's going to work better than anything. And it doesn't rattle, it doesn't shake, it doesn't do anything. It really stops the bike well. I feel much safer being able to sort of ride the bike around like a normal motorcycle without having to stop, start my deceleration a quarter mile away from the stop sign or whatever. All right, anyways, that's all. Thanks, guys.